Happy Saturday. Happy Free Comic Day. Happy May 6th. I don't think today could have, and the Lakers won. I don't think the day could be any better. The weather was great. That last respite before the blast furnace that is the city I live in takes place. Today was good. There was a breeze. There was clouds in the sky. No rain. Perfect. I wish I could encapsulate and bottle up this weather and keep it for the next 9 months, but I know I can't do that. Each day brings us closer to the red hot ball of fire in the sky that is the sun. So welcome to the Sci-Fi Center Live Saturday night overnight live show, brought to you by tonight of all nights, Sister Kim's Kitchen. Yeah, I mean, what more can I say? There's the menu. But look at this. Those of you who I'm 6'2", 250 pounds. I'm a big guy with sleeve stack hands. This is a double bacon cheeseburger courtesy of Sister Kim's. And just to show you guys just how beautiful this thing is, I had them take a picture of it before we bagged it up. And here we go. And there's a little size comparison next there for you so that you can kind of see just how big this thing is. If StreamYards will cooperate. There we go. This is what beauty looks and tastes like. See that container? That's the same container that would hold a Big Mac. This isn't just some smashed together hockey puck thing that looks good in a picture, and when you get it, it's disappointing. This thing I'm holding in my hand right now is the same burger. I could hurt someone with this if I threw it at him. All right. And as you can see in the caption, I'm saying I deserve this because today was a very, very active and busy day. All right, so Sister Kim's Kitchen. Also, let's see, we have another sponsor, and it's a very important sponsor because we're going to actually be bringing up that sponsor today. And hold on, stop screen. The other sponsor is myself and Troma Pictures that present TROMANIA, happening next Friday, next Saturday. Lloyd Kaufman, the founder of Troma Pictures, the maker of a Toxic Avenger, and everything else that you've ever seen from Troma. His name is at the top of the bill. He will be here for 2 nights live doing audio commentary on Toxic Avenger, Class of Nukem High, Romeo and Juliet. We're going to be premiering 3 Vegas premieres and 1 world premiere will be here. We'll have a red carpet special. And the other person that is our main sponsor is me, the Sci-Fi Center, your geek daddy. For all of your local geek tendencies, comic book toys, posters, events, magazines, they're located. This is the old address on the card, 900 Liberace Avenue, Suite B as in Bravo 209. We are upstairs in the New Orleans Square, overlooking nearly the Strip. 702-900-GEEK R4335. You can find us, everything about us. Go to the sci-fi-center.com and join all of our social media if you haven't already. Before we get going, let me bring in the wingman, the truck driver himself. What's going on, Thade?
Well, whereas you had a good day, I had a horrible one, but that's beside the point.
Everything okay family-wise? Nothing?
Oh, family's fine.
Okay.
Had a mass shooting about 30 minutes away from me.
I saw that 9 people. Wow.
Yeah,
It never
killed
gets.
nine,
Yeah.
injured 7 before he was killed himself. And there were several children involved. So,
It
um,
never gets. I personally will never get numb to this, and this is somebody who's served in a combat theater where people are supposed to get where it's part of the game. This will never get numb to me. Every time it goes down, I feel for all 9 of those people. I don't know who they are. I'll never meet them, but I feel all 9 of those deaths. I feel the extended family. Like I said, the president says, these are people who are going to go home to an empty place at the table tonight. And it's heartbreaking, no matter how you feel about the neo whatever political situation about it. These are still 9 people that are no longer here with us. So prayers go out to them.
Unfortunately, I'm going to probably have to deal with it at work on Monday. So
yeah, it's
because that's really close. That's really close to the place I work, and of course, my line of work. So
well, and remember when 1 October happened here? I mean, I live real close to where that happened. I'm in Vegas. Vegas is not a very big city. People think it is sometimes, but it's not a very big city.
No, it's not at all.
A lot of us knew people that were affected by that, and that was one of the worst. That was 58, 59 people, and it was just like it's a different kind of horror every time it happens, everywhere it happens. So I hope
it
for
seems
you,
to be
we take you away from all that for about 2 hours or so.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I'm probably going to have to deal with some of the outflow of that at work, and I'm not looking forward to it. But
yeah, it's the new normal.
It is what it is. There's been 20 mass shootings in my state since January.
Yeah,
20.
Ugh. And by the way,
and it's only gotten
the mass shooting is anybody 4 more. It's going to get worse, unfortunately. But
and it's only gotten worse since they allowed open carry with nothing stopping it down here. So,
all right. Well, today was my favorite day of the year. All right,
Free comic book day.
More than my birthday, which I don't give a shit about. More than Christmas, more than Christmas Eve, more than Thanksgiving, more than 4th of July. More than getting our hour back from when we annually get screwed every spring when we fall back, which is one of my favorite days of all time of the year. More than that, today is Free Comic Book Day. I love Free Comic Book Day. I am running on bare bones today as far as complete exhaustion, but I am running on adrenaline because it's Free Comic Book Day. Listen, you guys know I love giving free stuff away. I send thousands of people to the movies. I give away posters. I love doing it because I wish, it was something like I was around when I was a kid, to be able to, connect and get all that stuff. Free Comic Book Day is more special than even that. As I've explained before, it's the one day a year where all of us pretty much share clientele. Everybody's going all over town trying to get these books, and then you get people. This is your shot. No matter where you are, if you're somebody who got one of my regulars in the day because they were looking for everything, congratulations. But this is our shot to make our case to get at least some of those crumbs from regulars from other stores. And you get to meet brand new people. I mean, you have your regulars, but you get to meet brand new people, turn them on to brand new things. And the kids come in, a lot of these kids, this is how they're going to get into comics. This is the most affordable way to get your kids into comics. It's free because they're going to come in here and they're going to get all these samples and stuff. They're going to read them. And then that's going to start their interest in this entire genre, which is great. So thousands of people across the nation today bought their kids to Free Comic Book Day, and those kids are going to become 2nd and 3rd generation collectors. And that's cool. And somewhere today, some kid picked up his first comic book that he's ever going to pick up at my store. Some kids, several of them did. Whole families came in today. So the geek that I am, that they will become, started today, which is cool. And it's just, like I said, it's just something about Free Comic Book Day just makes me happy. Some of the stuff we were, especially this year, where I thought that because of the fact that we were so short because we didn't meet the deadline. So the company that does our comics scraped together what they were. So we didn't have a lot, but our traffic was the same as last year, if not a little bit more. We had enough to, we had to put some limitations, which I never do. Usually, if you check it and make it to my store, I don't limit. You can get one of everything I have. And if you have people with you, you can do that because we use that $500-600 bucks. Doesn't matter. This year we were limited to where we had to kind of limit things a little bit down the stretch, but we still, everybody that came in, if you look at our Instagram and everything else, everybody came in and we put a smile on their face. They were happy to be here. We had some people show up in costume, and I'll show you guys some of the pictures here in a second, but this is it. This is all I have left. I have Marvel, Spidey and His Amazing Friends, and the Spider-Man Venom. That's all I have left out of all the books we had. We didn't have as much as we usually have over the past 7 years, but we had my table was loaded. If you look at our pictures, and one thing that the rest of the stores did not have, is I showed you guys before, were these Guardians of the Galaxy pictures or posters, mini posters, because we promoted the movie. So we were giving these away as well. So everybody who came in got one of these. And this was one thing that the rest of the stores did not have, which was kind of cool. And once we were posting these, people actually came in and wanted these posters. Some people had done their rounds and got all their free comics and still came back with this. So I love Free Comic Day. It was fun. So let's go ahead and look at some happy people. Let's take my picture of my burger down. What's going on, Thade?
Oh, nothing. I'll handle chat since Stella's not here tonight. So.
Okay. Yeah, Stella's doing what I need to be doing, which is resting. I'm going to pass out on there.
She's been sick and she hasn't gotten a whole lot of sleep the last couple of days. So
yeah, I'm working.
Her allergies are still getting to her, and for some reason the antihistamines didn't act as a way to make her go to sleep. They kept her awake for a couple of days. So
yeah, man.
Sometimes that happens.
All right, let's go to. All right, so there's my burger. Let's all hail Sister Kim's. That is going to be devoured by me tonight. That fist-sized burger is going to make its way through my system.
When I come down to see you here before too long, I'm gonna have to go to Sister Kim's, but there's also another place I got to take you to when I'm out there. It's out there where you are, and it's a place that makes like 2.5 foot long burritos that are as big around as my arm. They're freaking enormous.
I think I might have heard of this place. All right, so there's She-Hulk.
Called Salitas. It's called Sayalitas or something. Airport.
I know where that is. I'm taking the doggy bag because that thing's huge. There's the posters we get.
Yeah, dude, we're gonna go get some lunch. We're gonna go get some lunch. I'm telling you.
that's lunch and dinner. All right, there's are you guys seeing this? Is it on there? Because I don't trust StreamYard. Okay, there we go. There's a customer that came in dressed as just as Doctor Strange.
She's dressed as Doctor Strange.
Yeah, and her amulet lights up. So
that's cool. Awesome.
Yeah. And she came in towards the end. There's a guy who made a second trip to he didn't realize I had the Guardians of the Galaxy posters. There's a whole family that came in. And I know for a fact that these three, this was their first time getting comics because she told me, the mother told me. So I was kind of cool. That made my day. And this is one of my regulars. He held up the wrong comic. That's that's a Hulk, Immortal Hulk 50. He has the free comics that he has behind him, but he too got a poster. He actually went to the movie. There's another new guy, a new kid who's just getting into comics. Him and his family came in.
A new trainee.
Yep, just as Pikachu or whatever that is. There. Hey, there's my. Don't forget about.
There's the TROMANIA thing.
I'll be so happy. It's going to be so much fun getting to this. But man, once I'm done, I'll be able to exhale. Oh, this is a brand new magazine we got. It's like Vampirella. It's like a knockoff of Born magazine, but they're still using this is a Frazetta picture.
The same art.
Yeah.
They're still using Frazetta art.
I published this, I censor it. Yeah, I had to censor it. As you can see, there's a penny there covering the parts that would have gotten kicked off Facebook.
Yeah.
So there's my what else do I got here? I'm just going to go through my crates. This was a earlier one. Another guy came in. I love giving the posters away because, like I said, I know they're going to go to. This sold immediately. This was the one variant I had of this Harley Quinn 29, and as soon as I posted, someone came in and bought it, and I really wanted it to sit around for a little bit longer. Some of my regulars in there, they came earlier in the morning. They got the best selection because that was when I still had most everything left. And there's TROMANIA again. I'm all over it. And these are actually the first people. And as you can see, that's what I had there. See, there was stacks. There was a Hulk. There was all that there. There's some catalog preview catalogs there. And this is a Dune. This sold today. This was a Dune variant, version variant house. I forgot what house it was because each Dune is
Oh.
coming out with House of Tolkien. Oh, I forgot. I had
Okay.
the house.
Well,
Oh, this was the
well,
House of
you
Trades.
could
That was
probably
House of Trades. What's up?
you can answer this question for me. Who's doing the Dune comic books right now? Because I'm really interested in getting back into them.
It is
Is it Dark Horse or
no, it's Boom Studios, I believe.
Boom?
Hold on for
Okay.
a second, because that's important. Because we're going to discuss the. I thought I had a Dune up here. Hold on. I'm believing it's Boom Studios because we increased our Boom. It is Boom Studios,
Boom
which
Studios.
is
Okay.
it's fast becoming some of my best selling stuff. So there is here's advertising the actual come watch Toxic Avengers and ask Lloyd all the questions you have about that particular movie. And there's me. This is me in a picture of him. I had the doctorate. I don't look like that anymore. Much more handsome. Green Arrow #1 variant.
Ooh.
That came in. It sold that. Tank Girl. I'm getting more Tank Girl in. I want to get the whole series. But these are small trade paperbacks because some of the other ones are too expensive. This I finally got a few copies of this back in. It's a hardcover for Batman Who Laughs.
Oh
I
yeah.
love this story. I love Scott Snyder's work.
That
This is
cover is
gone.
gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a painted cover. Something's Killing the Children. This is the
Dude,
one I've been
that series is amazing.
yeah, and I'm going to be doing something for the Center's own site called Late to the Party because on this, I am late to the party. I've ordered all of the trade paperbacks that lead up to these issues. I have more issues too. This is just letting people know.
And William,
Go ahead.
the same guy who does this comic right here does the DC comic, the House by the Lake, the Pretty House by the Lake, or whatever.
Yep. Doesn't he do
He
a
does
basket full of skulls too, or a basket full of
Basket Full of Heads. Yeah.
Yeah. This is more DC Black Label. This is what used to be Vertigo, but it's the Dead Boy Detectives. That's another one I'm going to be reviewing sometime next week. I got several of these. These are getting a little bit more popular. That's a trade paperback for Batman and Robin, the Grant Morrison run. That is partially for what James Gunn's Batman and Batman. What is it? Brave New World is going to Bold and Bold.
Brave and the Bold.
Brave and the
Brave
Bold.
and the Bold.
I almost said Bold and Beautiful. That's a soap opera, but it's going to be based on this. So we got several of these to go into our As Seen on TV. Another Boom Studio, Alice Ever After. This is another one I'm going to be trying out. These are things that I'm also going to be reading myself. I have made a commitment that just about everything Boom that comes in, I'm going to be reading. I'm already tackling everything DC Black Label, but this is a little bit different. These are my this was from May the 4th. These are actually Pezzes. These are actually Pezzes that are like the size of my hand.
Oh wow!
And there's Empire Strikes Back behind you. I made a post about this saying I love this picture, but I hate the trunks. Now a set of these came out. Yeah, these are Alex Ross. Each one of them is a different comic book, but this is before I tagged, so I don't know which one this is. I think this is Fantastic Four. New Fantastic Four, but he did about 7 or 8 of these, and he did the close-ups of their faces.
Oh
and, yeah, this deceased Power Girl on it. That's from the famous Supergirl cover. This is my I gotta fix that back there, but this is the Star Wars section. You can see there's sawdust around it because I just cut a hell of like about 20 different shelving units that's going on behind this. But I had it ready for May the 4th be with you, the action figure case and the Rogue One figures. And there's TROMANIA, and there's the Guardians of the Galaxy posters, letting everybody know I have them. That's Rocky Horror Picture Show. Woohoo! And then once again, there's TROMANIA again. I've been posting a lot about TROMANIA because it's pretty big. So yeah, that's what we did today for Free Comic Book Day. Let me show you. So speaking of Dune, speaking of hold on, let me get out of the screen.
Dude, did you see the trailer for Dune 2?
I got it lined up. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna
Dude, I'm gonna do a reaction video. I'm gonna do a reaction video for it on one of my channels.
I might do one for mine, but it's just, I gotta figure out how I want to do those. Here is Dune, House Harkonnen.
House Harkonnen, yeah.
Yeah. This is all Boom Studios.
I wonder if those are based on the novels that came out about 20 years ago.
I haven't jumped into them yet. I'll let you know.
Let me know because I want to know before I buy them.
This is
And if
the
it's
other
a
one,
and if it's
House
a
of
whole new
Trading.
story, yeah, if it's a whole new story, let me know.
This is a variant. They come out with tons of variants. I love Boom Studios because I do well with variants. And this is one of my favorite covers. I love when blue is used this way. This is House of Trades.
Oh, that's nice.
And then there's another one of House Harkonnen. So yeah, they're all Boom Studios. And then show you.
Yeah, I've gotten into DC Black Label because of you, William.
It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. I mean I can't say more. Enough good things about it, especially if you like the Edge. And this is the one, like I said, we've been selling a lot of these today. And that's Something's Killing the Children. Everybody else is on this one already. I am late to the party, and I'm going to do
Yeah.
like a 5 or 10 minute show. It's called Late to the Party. All the stuff that people have been telling me to read for 2 years now, 3 years, and I'm just now getting to it, which is quite sad on my part, but I got to slow down. Like I said, after Tromania, I'm telling him I'm not. I mean, we're going to slow down, and I'm just going to become the nerd, the consumer nerd that reads and plays with all the stuff in the store. Because, like I said, I just haven't had the time, and I see this cool stuff coming in. I'm like, wow, I got to get on Wikipedia just to catch up.
Dude, I try to read at least 2 issues of a comic every day, just to keep my mind off of stuff. But
All right, let's hit
dude,
some
I
of the
just
chat.
got done. I just got done with Batman the Damned.
Oh yeah, I had that. I had the first issue where his
Dude.
cock was in there, and they took it off the market.
Yeah.
That made that one super expensive. So let's roll through the
Okay,
chat real
let's.
quick before we start.
All right,
Pick them as you want to.
here we go. It says hello, William. I've been meaning to ask you if any movies that got announced at CinemaCon have you excited?
Oh yes,
Oh, quite
the
a few.
Flash, the Flash.
Dude,
The one well not
Universal.
announced. Yeah, nothing was really announced. They just gave you stuff for it. I'm gonna see India. All the ones that were announced, I'm gonna go see. There's one for sure I'm gonna go see. Obviously, it's a Flash, but then you have Dune 2. They showed some stuff from Dune 2. Everything that's coming out in 2000. There's a lot in 2003 that's coming out that they put out there. Dune 2 is going to be a big one. Across the Spider-Verse is going to be a big one. They showed the Flash. Even though I know what happens now in the Flash, I will still be there at our premiere screening to see it. There's a couple things in there that I didn't get the full slide for CinemaCon because I really only cared about certain studios. But yeah, the Flash is the one that has me excited for on multiple levels. All right, next one.
Will, question about the WGA strike. In your honest opinion, do you think the superhero genre is going to be the most affected by the strike because of how convoluted their stories can get? You catch that one, William, and then I'll give my answer.
Not any more than anything else. Not any. It will be affected, but not disproportionately more than anything else. I think let me rephrase that. The superhero genre might be affected not because of the stories, but because of the schedule of what was supposed to be coming up, what's about to start filming. Marvel has a bunch of stuff that's being written, screenwritten, and so does DC. DC James Gunn is about to go into pre-production. You have Blade that's being delayed again. So yeah, scheduling wise, yes, because of what's coming up and when it was planned, but not story wise. I think it's all going to be
James
affected.
Gunn's actually been out on the picket line with the writers the last few days.
Yeah, and they're on the right side, and they all know it. So I just hope it gets done quick. Go ahead, Nat. You were going to go ahead and answer that one?
Yeah. In my opinion, like William said, not any more than anybody else or anything else that's being written. I know that most of the Marvel slate's been delayed. Some of the DC slate's been delayed. That's coming. Oh, that looks so tasty. Anyway,
Go ahead.
well, it's kind of hard to talk when William's molesting his burger over there. Anyway, yeah, but that's pretty much it. Like everybody's gonna get hit by this, and if it takes as long as it did the last time, we're looking at 100 to 150 days or more.
Size comparison.
Oh my God.
Okay, next question.
All right.
I can smell the bacon through the foil. Okay, we need to stop.
Okay, next question. Rhea wants
Yeah,
to know.
woo!
She says let her know if she can help you with the Tromania event at all. Extra pair of hands, setup, cleanup, crowd control, etc.
Okay, I definitely will.
Because
Because
she's going to be out there for Tromania. So
yeah, she'll be here. I'd rather have you just sit back and enjoy it, but shit might get crazy. It's trauma.
okay. William, I'm a big fan of Old West and political thriller fiction. Is there any independent comic companies that you can recommend that do comics in those genres that I can read on Free Comic Book Day?
I
Free
didn't
Comic
get
Book Day?
everything.
Probably not. But I know there are some companies that do political thriller fiction and some Old West stuff. I could do some research on that. Give me just a second.
Independent wise, Gunslinger Spawn. It's an Image is an independent. It's not political intrigue like Walking Weapon. Moving Target, Human Target. I'm sorry, is a political intrigue,
Human.
but that's DC. It's Black Label. It's not independent. I'll have to do some research on that one, Anthony. As
Give
far
me a
as
second.
independent,
I'm doing that really,
okay. While you're doing that,
really quick.
and it holds its aroma too. That's the thing about Sister Kim's food. The aroma doesn't fade.
What is this?
I almost don't
No,
want
no,
to
no, no,
eat
no,
you.
no.
It
I
just
didn't ask for
feels
that.
so
Never
right
look
to
at
have it in my hands. These two large hands of mine. I see a brand new person that I've never seen in our chat before, and Gaelic Nordic Girl. Hello, Gaelic Nordic Girl. Oh, that's is that Michelle? Michelle, did you change your name? You on the run? Rhea's eyeballing my burger. Don't worry, Rhea. When you come out here, boy, we're gonna induct you into the Sister Kim's cult.
Yeah, I'm gonna join that cult when I get out there too, man.
I
Because
got so many people coming to town.
I see you eating that food so much.
You still looking them up?
Yeah, not seeing anything good political thriller that's independent. I mean, like I said, Human Target, like William said, is good, but that's
Yeah.
DC. Um, yeah, but I'm not
Not to
seeing
say
many
it's not out
independents on
there,
this one, buddy. Not to say it's not out there, but maybe ask us next time. We might have some research for you. Give us a little time to look into that.
but Anthony, this is not an independent one. It's not an independent one. It's a Marvel comic, and it's from 30 years ago. It is one of the best political intrigue comics I've ever read. It's a miniseries. Nick Fury versus Shield.
Oh yeah, that
You
one
can
is a
get
good
it in
one.
trade paperback. It holds up today. It holds up even um past the Secret Invasion type of stuff that they did in the mid 2000s. Nick Fury versus Shield is a 4-issue miniseries. It is the best political intrigue comic I've ever read to this date. So go check that out. I know it's not an independent, but maybe it's still a good story. All right, next one.
Okay. Let's see here. Oh, thank you, Spider-Man. My daughter is doing better. She's out of the hospital, and she's getting better. She's
Cool.
got a
Good to
long
hear.
road ahead of her, but she's getting better. So thank you for the well wishes. I appreciate it. Uh, that was an incredible giveaway. Such high quality posters. Free comics look super primo too. She's praising
Yeah,
your
they
free
put
comic
out
book
some
day.
good stuff. Like I said, I wish I could have got more, but we did. I was amazed at how well we did today, traffic wise, with what little we had. The posters were key, and I still got some left. I was happy to give those away. We got a bunch of stuff coming for Fast X too. I'm on the fence about seeing that movie. That movie looks silly.
Dude, I don't need another Fast and Furious movie.
But you know what I
Um,
am? I am sold on that I was not sold on at first.
what's that?
Transformers, dude. Transformers.
Oh, dude, it looks amazing. Like literally amazing, dude.
Seeing the ape
I,
didn't do it for me. Seeing Unicron
yeah,
and actual size Unicron,
yeah,
and when he's asking him how big could this guy be, and then Mirage, I think it was Mirage, says he's planet, so way bigger than a planet. I thought that was hilarious. And I wish this wasn't taking place in 1994, but because I know how he ends up in the Earth, it's just stupid. But Transformers, the Beast Wars looks better than I ever gave it any chance. I was going to pass on that because the Transformers franchise has just lost me. But it as soon as Unicron, and it looks like Unicron, not some bastardized, you instantly recognize
Yeah, it's
Unicron as
Unicron.
Unicron. So I'm like,
Dude,
oh, no.
I like that they've gone to using like the G1 styles since Bumblebee.
Yeah. Yeah, even though I liked the original movie, Megatron did not look like Megatron. Megatron looked more like a raisin than he did anything Megatron. So
Yeah. Okay, so next question. Oh, Kavari says just see Gardens 3. All I'm gonna say, Superman Legacy is in good hands. Guardians 3 is good.
yeah, I'm seeing it tomorrow night at 9 or 9:30 after I get off. I listen, guys. I will freely admit that I do not like the way the James Gunn hire went down because I thought there was mismanagement that led up to that. That is going to hurt his prospects for success. But I am completely sold on James Gunn's ability to tell a story. I've said that over and over again. In fact, I've been on panels where I've been the only one trying to preach the fact that this guy is an excellent storyteller. So I believe it's in good hands. I wish that the management had put him in a situation where he could be successful, because I think whether it's Superman Legacy, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be just as good as about anything else he's done. But and I say this over and over again, sometimes making a good movie isn't enough. I always hear the people blow things out of their ass like, all you need to do is make a good movie, and that's bullshit. All right, there are so many other factors that go into making a movie a success. Just making a good movie is about 25% of the deal, especially when you're talking about a comic book movie. If you release a great movie under bad circumstances, you may as well flush that movie down the toilet. So I think that's what James Gunn is up against. But as far as his ability to bring a story home, oh, hell yeah. He's proven that to me over and over again. So I agree. All right. Next one.
Hold
Then we'll
on,
get
I'm
into
grabbing a
some
couple more questions. Hold on before we go back
crazy.
to the
I got some
questions.
crazy topics we'll get into. All right. While Date's doing that, what should we name my burger? My burger is as big as a small child. I think we should name it like a child. It's not going to be here for very long. It's going to have a very short lifespan. And I'm wondering if the sauce. Am I going to have to lick? I may have to lick the foil again. Inside the foil, not outside. Oh, man, it smells so good. I don't think I'm going to make it through these hours. I want the whole store to smell like this. It's like Circle of Life or the Lion King. Circle of Life. Ah, boy, I got to
Oh, that's
unhinge my
just.
jaws like a snake, like a reptile to get it down.
Okay, so next question. Reyes says, "Have you ever hosted a screening of The Room? And if not, would you be able to get Tommy? Would you be able to and get Tommy Wiseau to be there?"
Yes and yes. Um, we hosted a screening of The Room and The Disaster Artist back to back, and he was there at the Palms. Yep. So yes, I have.
Awesome. You can definitely see the trauma influencing Guns Productions. Yes, you can.
Yeah, but you know what? I think you're going to see an evolution. I think you're going to see an evolution as he tackles these comic book characters that now he's in complete charge, and now he's taking on traditional characters. I think he can still his trauma style is fun. It's an explosive style, but it's not necessarily appropriate for everything he's going to be working on. I think Superman Legacy is going to have James Gunn hallmarks all over it, but it's not necessarily the ones that are the most blatant ones that we know him for.
All right. Next says William and Thade. What are your thoughts on the use of AI for creating story prompts in mainstream content? I'm against it.
Feels kind of creepy.
AI
But you know
cannot
what?
compensate.
Yeah, that's your problem right there. Is
AI
it's not
cannot
going to be
compensate. AI cannot compensate for human ingenuity. Sorry.
all right, but here's the thing, though. As much as it creeps me out, if you put in to AI everything that we are, eventually it will be able to do as we do. It will be able to make conscious decisions based on parameters that are set by us. Eventually, it will mirror us. It can't now, But I think that's just a matter of we've already let the genie out
Oh
of the
well,
bottle. It's kind of creepy,
give it
actually.
25 years maybe, but right
Oh,
now, no.
5 years, man. 5 years. 5 years. You're gonna be replaced. It's somebody else is gonna come on. The computer's gonna turn itself on and come into my stream saying it's you, and I'm not gonna be able to. I'm not gonna be able to tell one way or another. It'll have your voice down. It'll have everything. All
Okay, so we
right.
have here William and Thade. Are you both fans of the Dune books? Because if you are, is there any glaring differences between the film and the books?
Yeah. The
Depends on
book.
what version
The
of the
films
movie
aren't
you're
boring.
talking about. Depends on what version of the movie you're talking about. If you're talking about 84, there's a shit ton. If you're talking about the 2000s miniseries Dune and Children of Dune, not really. They're actually very close to the book. As for Villeneuve, he's doing really good. I can only think of one, maybe two things that I myself don't appreciate about the Denis Villeneuve Dunes when it comes to the books, but that's just me.
The books are horrible for me, not because the story is bad or anything else. It's just that the world he is trying to describe is bogged down in the description. Whereas that's where I think the movie it benefits from Denis Villeneuve being able to show you in big open spaces, big giant ships, big space battles, big desert battles. He shows you in an instant and in a more breathtaking fashion the things that you cannot Frank Herbert cannot tell you in that book. I know what he means, but it's like the literal versions of Dune is like it's like water torture. But you keep reading because the quality of the story is there. It's just that it just drags and it's just like,
I
so I
you
think
know
the books are I personally I think the movies
it
are more exciting.
in my opinion, I agree with William, and this is coming from a guy who read the first book of Dune at 12. Um, I've known those books my whole life. I've read every book that Frank Herbert wrote when it comes to Dune. I've read the books that his son and Kevin J. Anderson wrote. All of it's good. The problem is he gets bogged down what I call diarrhea of the word processor. He tries to explain way too much, and Stephen King has the same problem.
Yes. The Stand. Oh
Uh,
my goodness.
Dude, The Stand is a great
Oh
book,
my goodness.
but if I don't feel like reading the book, I'd rather see the show.
The four episode miniseries on ABC, I was
Oh, dude,
like,
have you seen? Did you see the more recent version that they did
yeah.
on CBS? Dude, that one was really good. I liked that. But yeah, so that's basically our answer on that numbers.
Uh, we'll get in a couple, and then let me go ahead and I'm going to bring up.
Michelle has some good news for us. Apparently, she
Yeah,
is pregnant again.
number
So
three.
congratulations, Michelle. This will be number 3. I am happy for you and your husband, and you guys be safe.
All right, I am queuing up
And
the Dune trailer here.
would you guys consider V for Vendetta a political thriller? Yes,
Yes, definitely.
especially the way it's presented.
remember the 5th of November. That's one of the most underrated comic book movies ever.
Oh God, I
And
love it.
that speech, listen, and I have that comic here. I have the Alan Moore, and screw Alan Moore for not thinking his work ever needs to be put into movies. Because man, some of the greatest comic book movies ever made. There's
Dude,
a part in B for Vendetta, the speech, not the speech, but the letter. If you read or watched the movie, you know what I'm talking about.
oh yeah,
The
yeah,
letter
yeah.
that Ellie finds in her prison, and she's reading it from the girl who's already been condemned. That is one of the most moving 4 or 5 minutes in a comic book movie that I've ever experienced. All right, that movie
You,
where she says, "I don't know you, I'll never meet you. I hope the world
know,
changes and things get better." Paraphrasing, um,
yeah,
but you still there? Yeah, that part of that book,
yeah, I'm
it,
here.
it and it's read exactly like it is in comic. And another part for V of Vendetta is the part where spoiler alert, it's been around 30 some odd years, where she finds out that it's him that has her imprisoned and shaved her head and then tortured her, all of that, and the speech that he gives her in the book, and that when Hugo Weaving gives it to her again, where you thought they've taken everything from you. You know, they've taken your brother, they've taken your friend, they've taken your family, and you thought the only thing left that you had was your life. And when they came for that, and you weren't afraid, and you truly were free, that was just epic. That's Alan Moore at his very, very, very best. And that movie, and it's funny that people who do Alan Moore movies take them seriously to the point where it's word for word. Watchmen's the same way. But yeah, political thriller and one of the most underrated comic book stories ever put out, and movies.
Okay, so I have the letter here. If you want me to read it.
Yeah,
It says here, I know there's no way I can convince you this is not one of their tricks, but I don't care. I am me. My name is Valerie. I don't think I'll live much longer, and I wanted to tell someone about my life. This is the only autobiography that I'll ever write, and God, I'm writing it on toilet paper. I was born in Nottingham in 1985, and I don't remember much of those early years, but I do remember the rain. My grandmother owned a farm in Totalbrook, and she used to tell me that God was in the rain. I passed my 11 plus and went to a girls' grammar. It was at school that I met my first girlfriend. Her name was Sarah. It was her wrists. They were beautiful. I thought we would love each other forever. I remember our teacher telling us that it was adolescent phase that people outgrew. Sarah did. I didn't. In 2002, I fell in love with a girl named Christina. That year, I came out to my parents. I couldn't have done it without Chris holding my hand. My father wouldn't look at me. He told me to go and never come back, and my mother said nothing. I'd only told them the truth. Was that so selfish? Our integrity sells for so little, but it is all that we have. It is the very last inch of us, and within that inch, we are free. I'd always known what I'd wanted to do with my life, and in 2015, I started my first film, The Salt Flats. It was the most important role of my life, not because of my career, but because that was how I met Ruth. The first time we kissed, I never knew I wanted to kiss any other lips but hers again. We moved to a small flat in London together. We grew Scarlet Carsons for me in our window box, and our place always smelt of roses. Those were the best years of my life. But America's war grew worse and worse and eventually came to London, and after that there were no roses anymore, not for anyone. I remember how the meaning of words began to change, how unfamiliar words like collateral and rendition became frightening. When things like Norse fire and the Articles of Allegiance became powerful, I remember how different became dangerous. I still don't understand it, why they hate us so much. They took Ruth while she was out buying food. I never cried so hard in my life. It wasn't long until they came for me. It seems strange that my life should end in such a terrible place, but for 3 years I had roses and apologized to no one. I shall die here. Every inch of me shall perish. Every inch. But one. An inch. It is small and it is fragile and it is the only thing in the world worth having. We must never lose it or give it away. We must never let them take it from us. I hope that, whoever you are, you escape this place. I hope that the world turns and that things get better. But what I hope most of all is that you understand what I mean when I tell you that even though I do not know you, and even though I may not meet you, laugh with you, cry with you, or kiss you, I love you with all of my heart. I love you, Valerie.
and when you hear Natalie Portman reading it, or the voice that reads it for Natalie Portman, it's as stunning in that movie as it is when you read the graphic novel, because of when it was released, what was going on. You have to remember that V for Vendetta, I could believe, was released in the late '80s. You know, that kind of relationship it's not 2023. It was not accepted then. You were what Alan Moore was trying to tell you in V for Vendetta was what could happen was the same thing that George Orwell was telling you back in 1984, that even in free societies, totalitarianism could still erupt immediately, and that if it did, different people would pay the heaviest price, as they did, in World War II, and as they were in the society that he was writing. And at that time, homophobia and things like that were huge. People got killed over being gay. It still happens to
Yeah.
this day, but not to the extent that it was when this was just a great graphic novel. It's a great graphic novel, and there are so many things in there. And John Hurt's performance as the leader, and it's just such an intense movie. If you haven't seen V for Vendetta, it's one of the best comic book adaptations ever done.
The year that movie came out, there's a goth club down here called The Church. And a bunch of us went there. It was like the whole place was filled with people wearing Guy Fawkes masks.
Yeah, that's what that mask was already popular, but that he made it super popular. and it just like I said, it's just underrated. I have it here too. Probably should have grabbed it and read it for you, but
Yeah, we had a V for Vendetta party at that club that night, and that was one of the most amazing parties I'd ever gone to in a club at all ever.
what Rhea is going crazy in here about burgers?
Yeah, she's trying to name the burger.
The Bully Go Burger, the Burgernator, ET, the extra tasty,
In a
and
patty far, far
and a
away,
patty far
Rebel
away,
Alliance Angus burger,
the
the Spock and Roll
Roll
burger,
Burger, the
the
Burger
Burger
Prize.
Prize.
Holy oh my goodness, man!
Oh,
That,
Rhea, I
that
said
girl's
I
in her
mentioned
energy, man.
I mentioned goth club. She's like, goth club? Yes, it was a goth nightclub that I used to go to back in the 90s and early 2000s.
We got a club out here. We got a place called the Artifice that does deepest red goth night. So when after Tromania, you have my
Well,
permission to go.
see,
No, I'm just kidding.
okay, so the club that I used to go to, most of the time, for like 5 days out of the week, it was called the Lizard Lounge. But on Wednesday and Sunday nights, it was called the Church, and it became a goth club.
That's how they did it, man.
Yeah, it was
How they
freaking
still do it.
amazing. Well, the church closed down because of COVID, unfortunately. But it was a great place to go to, though. I used to hang there just about every weekend.
Oh.
Okay,
All right.
so we'll hold the rest of our questions for later.
All right, we're gonna
Trailer.
play the Dune trailer. Ready?
Oh, one thing that I do not agree with the second part of Dune, the character of Fade Ralpha. In the books, he was described as being beautiful because he was the one that the Harkonnens would send in to lighten the road for their family. They have made him look like every other Harkonnen in the first
Isn't
movie,
that
bald and pale.
Dave Bautista's character, right?
No, that's Raban. Fade is played by Austin Butler in the second part of the movie.
Oh, that's right. I think he's in this trailer.
Yes, he's very prominently featured in the trailer.
All right, we ready? This
Yeah,
trailer should not get us kicked off of.
it won't.
And plus, it's a trailer that Warner Brothers sent me. Oops, hold on. I want to turn it all the way up. I can't wait to get this in surround sounds. The
Oh
Dolby sound.
God.
Man, it's gonna be so great. All right, here we go.
It's breathtaking. When you see sand here, imagine water. If you dive in, you can't reach the bottom.
You dive in.
Yes, it's called swimming.
I don't believe you. In the shadows of Arrakis lie many secrets. But the darkest of them all may remain.
Aurelian.
Yeah. What's up?
I said that was Aurelian, Princess Aurelian, the Emperor's daughter.
Oh, okay. I thought you were calling me. Sounds like that Wonder
Yeah.
Woman. You know that Wonder Woman theme song? That sounds like
Yeah,
that.
it's Hans Zimmer, so
Yeah.
it's very close.
I'm waiting for Wonder Woman to jump through the fire. All right, here we go.
The end of House Atreides.
Your father didn't believe in revenge.
What if Paul Atreides were still alive? Have you ever had a dream about your first ride?
Don't try to impress anyone. You're brave, we all know that. Be simple. Be direct. Nothing fancy.
I understand. Nothing fancy.
You will never lose me, Paul Atreides. We gave them something to hope for.
That's not hope!
May thy knife chip and shatter.
And all I have to say is, long live the fighters of Muad'Dib.
Yeah, this is on so many levels. On so many levels. Hold on, let me get this. There is I can't wait. I cannot wait. This is I think this is gonna be where Denny gets the award that he should have gotten for Blade Runner. Hold on, let me turn this down. You know, he's been nominated before, but this is the one I think is going to get him his. This movie is so large; it's on such an epic scale. It does things just by knowing what we went through with the original, what we saw in the original, and just seeing that trailer. He's bringing this literary content to you in a way that I'm going to go ahead and say it. Frank Herbert never could.
Yeah.
There's just no way when you read these books that you can imagine the size and breadth of what they're giving you in these movies and the relatability to make it where I could bring someone who's not a Dune fan and all they have to do is know about political structure of any kind and they know what's going on in this movie. I think that's the biggest testament to this movie outside of the visual effects of it. Is the relatability of it, the transferability of it to be able to say, I can bring anybody who's watched any political intrigue and sit them in front of this movie and they won't feel lost. And I'm saying that about something that Frank Herbert wrote, which is amazing in itself.
Well, I just want to point out the scene there where he was about to ride the sandworm and Stilgar's telling him, hey, you don't have to we know you're brave, you don't have to be crazy,
Yeah.
When he flips it, when he jumps on the worm and they see him come up as the worm rolls to its side to pull the hooks out of where the sand was irritating its scales. That look on Stilgar's face, you can finally see that Stilgar understands. Finally believes the legend about Paul, that what he is. Like
Yeah,
you
and
see that look on Stilgar's face. It finally dawns on him that, oh my God, this kid is what they say he is.
And the colors, the use of the colors. The only person I've seen use colors in this definitive way was Michael Mann.
Yeah.
You knew when you were talking to villains with the color scheme that he presented. You go watch Heat. When he's talking, when it's Al Pacino's character who's the bank robber, who's a cop, it's blue. When it's Robert De Niro's character who's a bank robber, it's red. And you see that here. You see the color schemes. You see everything around you is meant to tell you exactly what you're watching. That is not easy to do. He did this in Blade Runner. I think he did it excellent in Blade Runner. And I think Blade Runner is now becoming, with each movie this man does, Blade Runner is brought to the forefront. Blade Runner 2049 is now being regarded as one of the better science fiction movies ever made. And that's not hyperbolic.
I'm going to say this, and I may upset some of the Zack Snyder fans, but with all the people that say that Zack Snyder's a visionary, Denis Villeneuve is more of a visionary. If you look at the way, like William was saying, if you look at the way he does things, oh my God.
Yeah, it's on a large scale, and trust me, I'm a huge fan of Zack Snyder's, and I believe Zack Snyder. I think they're on par with each other, in my opinion. It's just that there's two different types of things that are being translated. So when you see the type of things Denis Villeneuve is translating, it's awe-inspiring. And when you see the type of vision and type of thing that Zack Snyder is going for, it's in its own way is awe-inspiring. I'm just happy that, because when I grew up with only like 2 or 3 guys that could do this, Michael Mann, Ridley Scott, and James Cameron, in my opinion. Now I never thought I was going to see people like that again making movies all at the same time, and now here they are. We have people that understand what it means, and they're using what Dune does is it knows where you're going to be watching this. It knows you're going to be watching this on the biggest screen that you can find. It knows that you're going to be watching this, and Denny knows that you're going to be listening to this in the biggest place with the best sound that you can find. And that theater, when you go see Dune, even when you go see the trailer, it shakes that theater like it's if when those in Dune, the original Dune 1 a couple years ago, when those big ships come down to get them to take them to the other world, that theater was shaking like it would as if you were standing under it. So it's like they're trying to build an entire environment all around you, and they're doing it. I don't know any other movie right now that's going to be able to compete with that. And I hope the Academy sees this finally and gives this man his damn statue.
I know, right?
All right, let's see what some of the chat is saying about that trailer. They have to love it. If they don't love it, get rid of them. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Let's see.
It's like a trophy that I won at a tennis tournament.
Azteca says this will be hard to beat for the best film of 2023.
I think so. I think so.
Dork Knight says, "Man, we're getting Dune and Rebel Moon. This is a great year for sci-fi."
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's going to be a great 60 days for sci-fi.
And then we've got this from Numbers. He says, "Do you feel like the first part of Dune ended at a weird place where it didn't feel like an ending of a chapter?" Kind of, but if you know the book at all, which I know most of the general populace doesn't.
Thank goodness. You are fortunate, but go ahead.
But that's actually a pretty good place to end it. The first half of that story. There's really no way you can tell that story in a single 2-hour movie. There's just not.
Yeah, no matter where you ended it, it was going to be awkward. So.
Yeah.
So yes, I cannot wait for Dune. I cannot wait to. I hope we promote the hell out of that one. I hope I am as much part of that. I mean, with Flash and Dune are the two big movies for me that I can't, that I just must see.
Says loved the first Dune, didn't understand the complaints about it. Exactly. Dune 2 trailer was amazing in IMAX.
Yep, and it shook the theater.
Okay, so, and this is another thing. We're talking about visual storytellers. Steven Spielberg was another one. I'm rewatching a show from the early 2000s. It was a miniseries on the Sci-Fi Channel before the Sci-Fi Channel got stupid. It was called Taken. It was about 3 families that were affected by the Roswell crash in the 40s. And that show for a TV miniseries is amazing with its visual clarity. And it's Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, that's when Sci-Fi Channel was the Sci-Fi Channel before it became Sci-Fi or whatever
before it became Sci-Fi. Before it became Sci-Fi.
Dude, when Sci-Fi Channel was kicking on all cylinders from 2005 to like 2000 or maybe 12, Friday nights for geeks was where you were at. You had Stargate Atlantis, you had Farscape, you had the Lex, you had all kinds of stuff. And then, Friday night, they made Friday nights and they gave it all up for Sharknado. All right. So what was the other things on my thumbnail? So I got, we talked about trauma all throughout. That's what we got to do. Free Comic Day, we hit that. AEW. I know not all of you are into wrestling, but I know all of you know how to count. Wembley Stadium is a 90,000 seat arena. It is massive. AEW's biggest, I think 35,000 was their biggest ticket ever anywhere since in their 5-year history. So even if they hadn't sold 60,000 seats at Wembley Stadium, which is what they just did on day one, that would still be amazing. The thing about this all in, and this doesn't happen until late August. So we're still quite a ways away. They have sold 60,000 seats. Not one match has been announced. We don't even know who's going to be with the company at that point. Nothing is set in stone. We don't know the main event. We don't know any of that. Yet, people were saying, and a lot of them were WWF marks or WWE marks, and that's fine, that there's no way they're going to sell that many. That's ambitious. Tony Khan is full of himself, blah, 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 blah. day one, they're north of 60,000 seats. Now, for you wrestling geeks out there, the last time that that was, I think that a major wrestling federation was at Wembley was 1992's SummerSlam, and I watched that as a kid. Davey Boy Smith beat Bret Hart for the Intercontinental title. I remember that, watching it live after my senior year. All right, so let me see. I got to make sure that we're sharing the same thing. All right, let's read this real quick. I won't delve into too much wrestling because I don't know what percentage of the audience is a wrestling geek like me, but since I am, here you go. Got to deal with it for a little bit. All right, AEW All In explodes to over 60,000 tickets sold at Wembley Stadium. AEW All In continues to inch towards history as AEW looks to disrupt the wrestling business, just like its spiritual predecessor All In 2018, which was the very first. That was a pay-per-view that AEW held before they were even a company. That's how big ballsy he was. First day pre-sales produced a gigantic 36,000 tickets sold, and that number later ballooned to 50,000 as of Thursday. Thanks to the amazing support of our fans, AEW All In London Wembley Stadium just hit 50,000. It's since gone on to do more of that, and that gave them $6.5 million in revenue, which is massive. Remarkably, all 50,000 tickets sold have been in the pre-sale. The general ticket sales begins tomorrow, so they did that without it being released to the general public, with great seats opening up. AEW President Khan tweeted after a successful second day of pre-sales. Khan updated the count to 60,000 tickets sold as the live gate increased to 7.7 million. That's just one day's take. Friday marked the first day of a general sales in which AEW already had more than doubling its record for most tickets sold for a live show, in addition to record-breaking metrics and live gate revenue. Tony Khan's last update was 50,000 sold. With today's sales, I believe the number to be well above 60,000 Wrestle Tickets Twitter account. And here's a tweet, and they said we couldn't do it, and here we are at 60,000 tickets sold by the first day of general sales. AEW has created a monster, and I plan to lead the charge. See you in August at Wembley Stadium. That was Chris Jericho. It's a lot. That's a lot of tickets. Obviously, I can't be there, but we're doing AEW doing Double or Nothing later on this month here that I might be at. But 60,000 seats, and that's just big, and that's a good market for wrestling. CM Punk. They've sold 60,000 without us even knowing who's even going to be with the company. I can guarantee you CM Punk will be there. I can guarantee you that Kenny Omega will be there. The Young Bucks will be there. Chris Jericho will be there. Anybody they can get is going to be there. CM Punk versus anybody would have sold a lot of tickets. CM Punk versus the Elite. CM Punk versus Kenny Omega. CM Punk versus Goldberg or something like that if they brought him out. Will Ospreay is popular. He's from Britain. You got a lot of people, and because of the way the European Union works, even though Britain is no longer part of the European Union, it's still easy enough to travel. So it's, people from all over Europe are going to go to this show. So yeah, that's just, that's massive. So that was just a little thing. What's Fourth saying about Guardians is going to bomb? Who said that? So now Guardians going to bomb? Now what? What do you mean, Fourth? Did I miss a comment?
Guardians is not going to bomb. It's already projected for 48 million today. Dude, you're listening to the wrong people there, Fourth.
Fourth is sarcastic sometimes too. So is he being like, because Guardians is already, I think he's messing with us. I think because it already had set a franchise for the record. All right. Yeah, it already has 48 million already. Well, okay, where is it? Guardians of the Galaxy blasting off to 260 million was its projected. That was 50 hours ago by Deadline.
It's sitting at. I just looked it up. It's sitting at 48 million for today.
What about worldwide?
That's domestic.
Let me look at worldwide. Let's see. All right, worldwide's at 83 million. Where was it supposed to come in at, though? That sounds pretty good.
Well, people are look. It'll make 120 at least this weekend.
Okay. Some fool projected a $260 million worldwide opening.
Yeah, that's not gonna. No
that's
movies
insane.
open that early on the first weekend. Sorry.
That's insane. It's not. It's. I've heard it's a great movie. Wait, hold on. Still reeling from the loss. Okay. All right. I'm just reading this now. Okay. So I guess the question will be, what was it projected at? I didn't even look at the projections because I just assumed it was going to do well.
They projected it. They had projected it at 110 million for their opening weekend, and that it was going to take a loss. But they're only doing that because Ant-Man and Quantumania took a loss. They're really not paying attention to the fact that everybody that I've heard so far that has seen this movie is freaking amazing. It also has really good Rotten Tomatoes scores.
But you know what else had really good ratings and had decent good rotten? Shazam.
Yeah, and Shazam did pretty well.
No, Shazam bombed. Guardians is not going to bomb. Yeah,
Guardians is not going to bomb.
It's 40.
If you're talking about Shazam too.
Yeah,
we're at 83 million worldwide.
I don't know. Okay, so I didn't read a lot of the articles of what they were expecting. Somebody told me I saw 260 somewhere, and that's insane. I also saw 150. So if we're talking 150, then I don't know. Even if it doesn't make 150, that's not a bomb, because word of mouth is going to get people to come back and see. Is there anything happening next week that would hurt it? That would nothing. What gets released next week?
Nothing huge.
Yeah, because Fast 10 is the week after that. I know because we're promoting that. So it's gonna have legs off of word of mouth. Even if and this is one of the things is who sets these boneheaded expectations.
Exactly.
I want to find that. I'll just get that guy on the show so I can talk to him. I'll be like, listen, dude, you set these expectations. You know how many movies you've screwed up? How many lives you ruined? You're why we're here, damn it.
I could name some names, but we don't talk about other YouTubers on this channel, so.
Is it? But doesn't he? Do they have that sway? Even them? Because 88 million for me. How much was it made? I mean, how much was Guardians of the Galaxy?
Hold on, let me look.
I mean, because you obviously want to make half your budget back in the first couple of days, and it's going to do that. I mean, I doubt it's 100. Is it a $200 million budget?
Okay, right now. Well, hold on. Where's the budget at? Hold on. It was $250 million to make.
Whoa!
Yeah,
that's a lot of money. Why did it cost more than? Oh, it's all CGI. I mean, everything's CGI.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But still, I mean,
it's 185. It's gonna make its money. It's not gonna.
It's currently projected at being about 119 to 125 million for the first weekend. So, I'm not worried about it.
Nah, and like I said, I don't see anything cutting into it. Let's see. What's next weekend? Oh, it's May 12th. Movie. Really, I should have that in my head. What's coming out that could hurt it? Okay, there's nothing. The Thief Collector, Concerned Citizen. It's gonna. There's Knights of the Zodiac, Hypnotic.
Yeah, there's nothing really major coming out next week to challenge it.
Next chapter, yeah, is not gonna stop it. Air is still there. Air's just not getting released next week. Wow. I thought that was already out. Black Knight, Blackberry, Crater. Yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing that's going to challenge it next weekend even.
Yeah, you're not going to start hurting, and not even hurting, but by the time Fast X, when does Fast X get released? Because by the time that comes out, you would have already made your money anyway. So anything you're going to make. But I know we're doing a screening of that on the 15th, May 19th. So it's got until May 19th to make its much money.
Yeah, they're fine. They'll be all right.
I think there's just been some crazy projections of it. So, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. So, all right, let's see. We're rolling right along. I covered Free Comic Book Day. I covered AM. Oh yeah, Yeah, you're right, dude. Wait till and people remember all the people. CM Punk is done. He's never coming back. They're never going to let him back. And I said it then. I said it then that was BS. There is so much money to be made out of this from CM Punk and Tony Khan's point of view that they were never going to release him. Every time I saw that he's about to get released, I wonder if he's going back to WWE. No, he's not. He's under contract for big money, and he's potentially going to make them massive money. CM Punk versus anybody on their roster right now at the top of that Wembley card is going to be money. CM Punk versus Kenny Omega and FTR versus the Elite. Those two top right there are good. So yeah, and they only need to sell 30,000 more. There's only 30,000 more. That sounds like a lot, but at the rate they're selling, it could be me versus Dade on that card. We're going to be playing in front of a sold out crowd. So yeah.
All right. Let's handle some of these questions here real quick. This might creep into spoiler territory based on stuff you've heard about, but in general, what excites you the most about The Flash, aside from it generally being a Flash movie?
The introduction of certain characters that may have staying powers and staying power within the minds of fans. The fact that it feels like it has been left as an open book for anyone who was going to come along to take things in their direction and pick and choose what they want, which leaves me hopeful that there will be elements that I have enjoyed for the last 9 years that will not be completely wiped away. That's where my excitement level is for it.
Well, hold on. Honestly, I think what's going to happen with the next few Transformers movies is they're going to go decade by decade from the 80s to the 90s, early 2000s to 2010s. They might.
So that means we're just backtracking. Prequels. Oh, well.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to go see the Unicron. Don't care about the gorilla. I care about the planet eating.
William, you shall call your burger the King Kong Mastodon.
Maybe. It's in the running.
I always wondered if V for Vendetta main character, is he based off of a real political anarchist from the... Yes.
Yes, Guy Fawkes.
Guy Fawkes was the man who was part of the gunpowder plot to blow up Parliament in the 1600s. He was
one of the
a
last
scapegoat.
people to be drawn and quartered, by the way. One of the last people to be... Remember that thing from Braveheart where they cut him up and all that? That's what happened in Guy Fawkes.
Now, to be honest with you, Guy Fawkes was a scapegoat for the people who were really a part of the plot. They got away with it. He got executed. So, there you go. Hey, English history. Do you guys think the writer's strike lasts long, that it'll put California in debt of $2 billion plus like it did in 2007?
It's possible, but I hope
it's possible. They're projecting 100 to 150 days for the writer's strike.
Wow.
And the first week was not successful.
Yeah,
at all.
They're nowhere right now.
I already read that. What are your thoughts on the Babylon 5 animated movie?
Same thoughts as I had on the original. I just never could get into it. I think it's going to maintain the same pace and likenesses of the actual live action, which it was way ahead of its time, but just never got me. I know a lot of people love it though.
Now, having been a person who watched Babylon 5, I'll watch this animated movie. I don't know what I'm going to think about it until it comes out, though.
The concept of it worries me, though.
Yeah, it kind of does. Let's see here. William, have you heard of Tomahawk Professional Wrestling?
No, I have not. Oh, enlighten me.
Do you think... Oh, that...
You had that one, yes.
Same question. Let's hope those tickets bought by the third-party ticket sellers are selling those tickets for a ridiculously cheap price.
They're actually not. They've been tracking it, and they said only 100 tickets reached the resale market because there's ways that they track the tickets. So it wasn't third party. The actual sales, actually, you had to verify that you were an actual person. So say, for instance, I couldn't buy a bunch of tickets. I couldn't buy tickets for someone else. If they did it that way, a ticket reseller would lose money because he would have to buy them en masse, and he wouldn't be able to you wouldn't be able to make a profit margin if you were able to do it. This way, you had to buy them one by one, and it was verifiable. So if William Powell bought a ticket to AEW All In, I'm verifiable as William Powell. All right, same thing with Dade. So it wasn't like a broker. A broker, when it's like here in the States, a broker can buy a block of tickets legally. He can buy it as long as he has the money. But as far as their reporting, and they reported to Forbes, there wasn't a lot of third party or third market, second market buyers, which is amazing because that means they're verifying these people as they're purchasing these tickets. Because on a pre-sale, it's not like you're walking up to the ticket window or getting online already. The pre-sales are only available to limited sections of society to begin with. Like I couldn't buy one. I can, you had to be, in a certain ticket window or a certain way to be able to buy those because they weren't released to the general public till the following day. So I think these are actually legitimate people buying these things. All right, Aaron, do you think that people like Mercedes Moné and Kota Ibushi will be at All In? Yes, I do.
Yeah, you'd have to answer that one because I don't know those people. So, feels weird. It doesn't feel like she's actually been dead for more than a year. Anthony, she died in 2016.
Yeah.
But she got her star on the Walk of Fame on May the 4th, and her daughter accepted her star wearing a dress with her on it, along with Mark Hamill. So,
does it feel weird? Nah.
Nah,
I thought
she's
it
been
would have
gone.
happened sooner.
She's been gone for 8 years now, 7 years now. And the what I find odd though is when you die before you can get your walk on your star on the Walk of Fame. If you die, you have to wait 5 years.
Yeah, you got to pay for that.
Yeah,
you got to pay for your star. It's not. They don't give it. They rarely give it. You have to pay for that.
Yeah. It's like $6,000 to pay for your star on the Walk of Fame.
I think it's 20, but you could be
20?
right. It's a lot of money because a lot of people raise money for it. Like you'll have it'll be like a fund to get your star on the Walk of Fame. It might all, and you know what? It might depend on where it is too. Like there are not all Hollywood spots are equal.
Yeah, because I know it goes by Man's Chinese Theater.
Yeah, but it also extends.
It's wow, it's nearly $60,000.
Oh wow! Hey guys, newsflash: William Powell will not be getting his name on the wall. Actually, there's already a William Powell on there. So when I do go to Hollywood, I've actually posed next to that because that's the closest I'll ever get. Me and William Powell Sr., my father, will ever get to having our stars in the Hall of Fame. So there you go. Wow. Next question. Wow, 60 fucking grand.
Nearly $60,000. Yeah.
Woo!
Okay. Based on the last two movies, Bumblebee being based in the 80s and the Beast Wars being built in the 90s, I think after Beast Wars, the next movies are going to be 2000s and 2010s. It's possible. I don't know though. There's also they're also talking about doing a War for Cybertron movie, which is going to take it back like thousands of years into the past. So
yeah, back to the Allspark.
Yeah. And Reyes says maybe this is Guardians 3. She says maybe the metrics for stream subscription boost and viewership will be in its favor. And she says I do think there's a stigma to wait for streaming for a growing number of people. You're not wrong. There's a whole lot of people since COVID aren't going to the movies as much as they used to. Hell, there's even been times where I've had to wait for streaming because I just haven't had time to get to the theaters.
Another big factor, and I think it's more prevalent than the stigma of waiting for streaming, is financially. It's just right now, a lot of people financially can't afford multiple movies, especially movies like this where you take families too. So the streaming option might be the only viable way for them to see multiple movies with their families. That's when Zaslav gets out there and says, we're going to prioritize, the theatrical this, and everybody says the streaming bump is over with. I'm looking at them. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's still $110, $112, $115 to take a family of four to a movie, get them popcorn, soda, all that stuff to have a really good time. It's still in your gas money getting there. All right. That's if you see multiple movies. So people are having to make a decision, a mathematical financial decision to be like, okay, I want to go see Mario Brothers, but I want to go see Guardians of the Galaxy. I have bills. I have these kids. I have to keep them fed. And it all adds up. So I have the streaming service, and in 45 days I can watch it. And to keep them happy, I take them to Mario Brothers now. It's a financial situation because I was talking
Yeah.
to some families today that were in that. A lot of them were in that situation. A lot of them came to Free Comic Book Day so that they could financially afford to get their kids started in comics and not spend hundreds of dollars. Because it'll never happen. So a lot of that is just dollars and cents. So
Well, it's also, you're paying $15 to $20 a month for a streaming service, depending on what it is, and you get to watch more than one movie. Whereas if you even a single person goes to the movies these days, it's like 25, $30.
yeah.
So, it's wait for the stream, wait for it to come to streaming, and also be able to watch like hundreds and thousands of other shows and movies, or go spend that money you could have more content with on a movie theater and get one movie and then nothing.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
wait for a movie, if you wait 45 days for a movie to stream, you can watch it more than once, even in that same day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And it used to be you took your little kids, and a lot of little kids are not. They can't distinguish the fact between being there on the first day and they're just going to watch what you give them. Now, as your kids get older, though, and they start knowing that this comes out this particular day, but your 3 and your 5-year-old are not necessarily going to care. They'll watch Mario Brothers or they'll watch Transformers when you put it on their screen.
Yeah.
So that is a good thing. But as adults, it just gets expensive. Like I said, going to the movies it's expensive, and some of these movies aren't that good. So if you got some mediocrity out there, you're kind of wary. All right.
Okay, he says here, not a question, but I started and finished Picard season 1 and thoroughly enjoyed it. Now I'm watching season 2. Can't wait to watch season 3.
I'm glad you enjoyed those 2 seasons. I am so happy for you, Dork Knight, that you enjoyed it. I didn't, but I'm glad that they're out there for somebody to enjoy because I saw season 3. When you get to season 3, dude, you're going to be like, even if you enjoyed those first 2 seasons, when you see season 3, you're going to be like, wow, was this made on the same planet as these other 2? All right, but isn't the problem with CM Punk when it comes to AEW is that no one in the locker room wants to work with him? It's too damn bad. And that's actually not true. There are certain individuals that don't want to work with him. But listen, I don't give a rat's ass if you don't want to work with CM Punk. You're under contract. You're an employee. You need to do what we tell you to do, or you're in breach of contract, which means not only are you not getting paid, you can't go anywhere else. If Tony Khan takes you to court for a cause, which is basically meaning that you can't just hop to WWE because you're the one doing the damage to the company by not fulfilling your contract, that means you sit and you're not getting paid and you're not going anywhere. So your job is to be a wrestler and make money for the company. And if there's a situation where CM Punk versus anybody will make money for the company, that is your job. That is part of your bonuses. That's part of your pay. You top tier stars draw from what the big names bring in. So I could care less if and I don't think Tony Khan cares, or else CM Punk would have been released when some of those people demanded he be fired. Tony Khan said, no, I signed these checks, and he's right. He's right. You cannot let other personalities say that we're not going to work with somebody at the detriment of the company. That is a horrible precedent to set. So even if there were people in here, but there are FTR. FTR is one of the best tag teams in the world and one of the most popular tag teams in the world. They're behind him. Not everybody, he can go into any locker room right now, and there are people who come out to talk to him and have good memories and good friendship with him. So, but even if it was 99.9% of the audience, if I'm paying you to put on a show, you put on that show or you don't get paid, and I sue you. That's what happens. And it sounds like Tony Khan, when pressured to release CM Punk, saw the money and said, no, we're not doing that. So good on him on that one. Next one.
What are your thoughts on the whole $3 billion lawsuit from that female wrestler that's accusing The Rock and other wrestlers of a conspiracy kidnapping plot?
I couldn't take it seriously, and I won't until I see evidence. I'm like, are you okay? First of all, where is the criminal? I need to see the criminal complaint because that's a federal. That's not a lawsuit. That's a criminal complaint. FBI is involved on that. arraignments are had. I mean, arrests are made on that. So I'm not calling someone a liar, but the names that she's bringing up, you would. I can't believe we wouldn't have heard about this now, or you wouldn't have seen a national news conference with her or somebody else. This is being sued in a civil court case, I believe. If there were criminal evidence to file criminal charges, we would have heard about it already. So, yeah, I take it with a grain of salt until I see the evidence. Next one. They're out here blasting this damn music. Boy.
Okay, Guy Fawkes was a soldier, managed to jump from the gallows and break his neck so he didn't have to suffer being cut up like that. Like, there.
I thought he was drawn and quartered.
Let me look.
Hold on.
Spelled it, of course. I did.
Google will fix it for me.
Give me a second. I am almost there. Let's see here. Trial of 8 plotters began on Monday, the 27th January, 1606. January 31st, Fawkes and 3 others, Thomas Wintour, Ambrose Rookwood, and Robert Keyes, were dragged from the tower on wild old hurdles and the old palace yard at Westminster, opposite the building they had attempted to destroy. His fellow plotters were then hanged and quartered. Fawkes was the last to stand on the scaffold. He asked for forgiveness of the king and state while keeping up his crosses and idle ceremonies. Weakened by torture and aided by the hangman, Fawkes began to climb the ladder to the noose, but either through jumping to his death or climbing too high so the rope was incorrectly set, he managed to avoid the agony of the latter part of his execution by breaking his own neck.
Oh, there you go.
His lifeless body was never quartered, and as was the custom, his body parts were then distributed to the 4 corners of the... No, his lifeless body was nevertheless quartered.
Oh, okay.
And as was the custom, his body parts were then distributed to the 4 corners of the kingdom to be displayed as a warning to other would-be traitors. Yeah, so he was drawn and quartered, but only after he died.
Yeah, he wasn't put through the Braveheart treatment. So
yeah, he wasn't alive when it happened, but
wow.
Well
by
enough.
the way, guys, by the way, I am so happy that I do not live in old England when they were killing bulls, because that's fucked up. Let's read what drawn and cornered is. Let's go ahead and
okay, hold on. I'll bring that up.
Yeah,
hold
bring
on.
it up, and just to let you know just how lucky you are not to be killed the same way this burger was prepared.
Hanged, drawn, and quartered.
If you've ever seen Braveheart, you'll know, but they didn't even show it.
Became a statutory penalty for men convicted of high treason in the Kingdom of England from 1352 under King Edward III. Although similar rituals are recorded during the reign of King Henry III. The convicted traitor was fastened to a hurdle or a wooden panel drawn by horse to the place of execution, where he was then hanged almost to the point of death, then emasculated, which means your manly bits were cut off, disemboweled, beheaded, and quartered. And most of the time before the beheading, you survived the emasculation and the disembowelment.
You're missing. You're reading the G-rated. There's something that they did.
Yeah, they would.
Once
they would cut off your genitalia and then they would throw it in a fire next to you so you could see it. Then they would pull out your bowels while you were still alive.
Cook those.
And then they would cook those. And then they would behead you, and then they would cut your body into 4 equal pieces, and those pieces would be sent to 4 different areas of England.
Yeah. Now, if you watch Braveheart,
and then your head would be piked to the top of London Bridge.
They did that to William Wallace. Unfortunately for King Edward, it did not have the effect that he was looking for. Robert the Bruce ended up pretty much fucking up the English after that, because Braveheart is Mel Gibson's whole, thing. And yes, William Wallace was a hero. William Wallace did some stuff. Robert the Bruce crushed England after that.
Yeah.
Robert the Bruce went south and just demolished them. When you see the end of Braveheart and you see you bled with Wallace, now bleed with me, that was just the beginning. It was Robert the Bruce that got Scotland liberated, and he jammed up the English. I think they made a movie about that.
They actually did. There's a couple.
Yeah,
There's
with
one
Angus
called
McFadden
Robert.
in it.
Yeah, there's one called Robert the Bruce, which has Agnes McFadden in it, and then there's
Great in
another
that
one
movie.
called it's got Chris Pine in it. It's the something King, the Bandit King or something like that.
Yeah, because that's what they called him because he was on the
Yeah.
run.
Well, yeah, because he killed a man at a church,
Yeah,
which was bad back then.
and once he started killing, and he basically they had to negotiate that. Longshanks was rolling in his grave, when Robert the Bruce, so the real hero of Braveheart, William Wallace got it started, but Robert the Bruce is actually what,
Well,
and like I
the
said,
thing about William Wallace that most people don't know, and Vince does say it, it's not very historically accurate. The movie Braveheart, it's got a whole lot of discrepancies in it.
oh, yeah.
But the thing about William Wallace is he was a very well educated man. He had traveled all over the world with his
He
uncle,
spoke those languages. Remember in the
and
movie he spoke French? He actually
he
spoke French.
spoke French, Latin, Greek. He spoke Aramaic and a few other languages. He was a very very intelligent man, but he was also a brigand and a bandit. When he came back before he started his rebellion, he was robbing folks and stealing from folks, and he there was good and bad to William Wallace. There's a scene in that movie Braveheart when he takes Chalzon's head at that first battle, the guy that he beheads off the horse, that he knocks the horse out from under him, and then he beheads him.
Yeah.
You want the not G rating version of what he did to that guy?
Sure.
He skinned that dude and used him to make a scabbard for his sword.
Legit. Is that the one? What's the one who killed his wife? The one who killed his wife. Remember that?
That was the magistrate. That was the magistrate.
Some of
They
that.
killed
so
that
much of
magistrate.
was meta. I was so disappointed because I studied it in school, but I never got that deep. When I watched the movie, and then you see the documentary on the History Channel, it's like, oh, this is kind of boring. I'm kind of glad they didn't make the movie because I would have fell asleep in that movie.
And this was the one that had Chris Pine, and it was the Outlaw King. Thank you, Vince. I appreciate you, man. But yeah, there are bits and pieces of the movie Braveheart that are historically accurate, but the rest of it's
Well,
see
and he
the
didn't look
story.
like that.
The story of William Wallace was actually based on a story by a poet called Blind Willie. And Blind Willie exaggerated some of William Wallace's legend. And some of the
They
stuff that
actually
he
made
said
fun
that,
of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and some of the stuff that Blind Willie said William Wallace did, actually Robert the Bruce did.
Yeah, he
So,
said, well, William Wallace shoot fire through his eyes and all that. And that's
yeah,
he was actually making fun of him.
and bolts of lightning from his arse.
He were here,
But he
and
were
William
here.
Wallace did not look like that. He wore a whole bunch of armor. There's a statue of him. But yeah, that's a great movie. All right, next one.
This is about the star. Ford said he'll get you a star on Crenshaw Boulevard, William.
And I'll get shot. Visiting it. Now, actually, Crenshaw, dude, it's not as bad anymore. Like I said, Magic Johnson has taken over a lot of the businesses in that area, and he's revitalized it. But when I was growing up in Southern California, Crenshaw was once the place that all your family could go to and everything else. Listen, when people hear about Compton and South Central and Long Beach, all these parts of LA, you think of them through through the lens of gangster, all that stuff that came at a certain time. As a small kid, that's not what it was. Long Beach, well, all these places were safe. There were gangsters, but if you weren't involved in them, it was a gangster down the street, and like there was a gun around. One person on the block had, you weren't involved in this stuff. You didn't have to worry about this stuff. Crack happened.
Yeah.
Once crack happened, it was like invasion. It was like Red Dawn. You know how the Russians and shit jumped out of the planes and all that? Crack happened, and overnight it was quick. Crenshaw Plaza, you couldn't go to the mall anymore. You couldn't go anywhere. Whereas an isolated shooting somewhere where the guy knew the guy, you had fools spraying, and you could get shot just by accident. And it was like you couldn't, guns, Tech 9s. Like I said, guns were rare when I was growing up, there. The next day after crack hit, it's like they grew it like potatoes out of the ground. And my dad, who was Air Force at the time, he was working at Loyola Marymount. So we were living in LA. He and my mom said no. They saw it coming earlier on. We were so pissed we had to leave LA. But when we moved to San Bernardino, which was the future gangster capital, but at the time it wasn't. It was where we were like refugees fleeing. And when we would see everything, and then it exploded really bad, and that's what what got known for. It's gotten better now because a lot of black owners, billionaires, have put money into it. But for a while there, from about '86 to like maybe the early 2000s, yeah, it was bad, man. Crenshaw Heights, ooh, no.
I have a somebody I know that lives out in LA right now. Uh, she often says that she praises the mobsters out on the East Coast because at least when they're going to assassinate somebody, they don't kill everybody around them.
Yeah,
But out there in California, they're just spraying fools.
spraying. Listen, a Tech 9. I don't know who or why the Tech 9 was invented. You're basically going to hit everything but what you're aiming at. It's an unstable piece of shit gun. And you had gangsters out there spraying. It already is erratic to begin with. And then all of a sudden, somebody got them AKs. AK-47 is a weapon that can withstand anything. That is why it is so popular. It's the most used gun around the world. But for accuracy, if you're not a disciplined shooter, it's called a chopper. They call it a chopper because it's so erratic that the bullets rip you apart. So you got these untrained, undisciplined guys sending rounds, not downrange, but in your neighborhood. And guess what? Drywall doesn't stop bullets. Neither does some
Yeah.
brick. So yeah, it became a mess. And then, like I said, I'm a hockey fan. Most of you guys who watch the show, I'm into hockey. I'm into all sports. I had a Wayne Gretzky jersey at one time, and this is at the time where black and silver was becoming gang associated colors. So I got mistaken identity by somebody who was calling me by a name that was not mine. It looked like he was reaching for something. Got close enough to me to realize I wasn't the guy, and just said, "Oh, my bad," and just went on. Cops were stopping me. Like, I had a cop stop me one time. He said, "Why are you wearing that jersey?" I'm a hockey fan. I'm an LA Kings fan. And he thought I was BSing him. He's like, "I bet you can't even name one Kings player." And I named the entire lineup at the time. It was the 93 Kings that went to the Stanley Cup Finals. I named the entire starting lineup, the starting five, all four lines, all the defensemen, the coach, who was Barry Melrose. It was Wayne Gretzky. I named them all. I named the goalie. I named the backup goalie, Rob Knickel, all those guys. All right. And I'm like, and then he's like, "Okay, never mind." And then, they left me alone. But yeah, LA at that time was just like, it was crazy. And like
Yeah,
I said,
where I went to high school, you couldn't wear red or any starter jacket that had red or blue on it.
that's what they did with us too.
You couldn't wear. There
I
were like
couldn't wear
certain
my
brands of.
Dodgers hat in LA. I'm living in LA.
Yeah,
and I'm
you
a
can't wear a
Dodgers
Dodgers
fan. I
hat
couldn't
in
wear my
LA.
Dodger hat.
You couldn't wear a red or a blue bandana anywhere, or gold or black in that for that matter, because we also had Latin Kings. Uh, it was bad. Okay, so hey William, have you gotten any promotional items for the Flash yet?
Not yet. I will. I will probably get those promotional items probably a week before the movie.
Okay, what are your thoughts on what Ben Affleck had to say about his Batman script and Deathstroke's role in it as a very singular villain? Marv Wolfman tweeting about it was really something.
Yeah, the movie needs to be made. That's what I think about it. That's all I can
Yeah.
tell you. It needs to be made.
I
Somehow,
agree.
find a way.
Number says, but do you really see Tony Khan as a contract enforcer? Because I think he's a buddy with the wrestlers, too buddy with the wrestlers to do so.
That's what he lets you see on the on the public facing. No, Tony Khan is a very savvy business person, and yes, I do see him as a contract enforcer. Because here's the thing: you don't have any choice. He understands that. Once you yield to your talent, you set the precedent. You will never get that power back again. You will never. And he made the right decisions when that whole thing went down. But the first time you do that, every one of those guys is gonna start asking that of you. So, and he understands that. He knows that, and that's why it didn't happen. So yeah, I do think Tony Khan is a contract enforcer. Because otherwise, when some of those guys said they wanted out, he could have just let them out, and it's just not going to happen. You cannot do that in a federation.
Fourth says, I think I have a T-shirt that says "Crack happens."
Dude, it was amazing because it was quick. It was literally like an invasion. Like I said, you grew up in the early '80s in LA. This wasn't what, and it's frustrating as a child of Southern California, greater Southern California area, greater LA area. when NWA came out, when gangster rap was big, everybody knew Compton and Watts for those two things. But before there was a certain time where some of the high rent districts were some of those districts, and then you had several riots before Rodney King that over a couple of decades degraded it.
Didn't crack kind of move into LA around 85, 86?
84.
84.
84 is
Yeah.
when it started to roll around, because what it did, because we inner city people in those areas, weed was the main thing, and that was even expensive, but cocaine was out of reach for somebody living in the inner city. Cocaine was a ritzy drug that doctors and lawyers did. All right. Crack was so much cheaper, so much available, and there was so much money that the lure was irresistible, and you had to protect that money.
Yeah, crack in LA in the 80s is like methamphetamines right now in Texas.
I mean, and it's sad because I remember Crenshaw Plaza. I remember going to see movies at Crenshaw Plaza. Yes, Loyola Marymount is where Hank Gathers went to school, and he died in 1990 during the tournament that we won. Yes, Hank Gathers was at. My dad worked there. He wasn't working there then, but that is the school. And like I said, LA was beautiful, man. Whenever William goes, the city falls apart worse than Brad Pitt's character into it.
World War Z.
It happened, like I said. My parents, and give them credit, they had the foresight because they grew up in Jersey. So they knew when things were going bad. They saw it and they said, we don't want to raise kids in this. I cried when we left LA because I loved it there. But I wasn't seeing what the adults were seeing. I wasn't seeing. My parents saw stuff that they decided, we don't want to raise you in this environment. First of all, we don't want you getting caught up in this stuff. And with him being away on tours and stuff like that, we did, he didn't want us in that environment. And they just saw it going hood, and it, and they went to San Bernardino, which at the time was different. But what ended up happening with San Bernardino is that you had LAPD go way overboard because they were under pressure to put a clamp down on the violence. And so they started doing things that were not necessarily constitutional. And, a lot of gangsters were getting locked up and giving really, really lengthy prison sentences. So a lot of them they went east to San Bernardino County, Rialto, those areas. And there you go.
Long Beach is messed up too.
Yeah, Long Beach was beautiful. Long Beach was beautiful. And it's like, it's just sad.
A lot of white supremacists at Long Beach.
Not
Neo-Nazis.
anymore.
There were.
Not anymore. Yeah, not anymore. It's not safe for them there. Dude,
Yeah.
Fontana,
But
California used to be a hotbed for all that.
You have to admit, though, in the early 90s, there was a lot of neo-Nazis on Long Beach.
Yeah. Just like in San Bernardino County where Fontana used to be, they used to have Klan rallies.
Yeah.
Fontana is now 63% Hispanic. There are no Klan rallies there.
Oh, no. Vincent says, yep, grew up in New Mexico. Raiders and King stuff was banned from school there. Yeah.
And like I said, I am to this day a hardcore LA Kings fan. There are holes in the walls that are there because the Kings lost at some point or another, especially 2014. I literally took down a wall because I put so many holes in it, and they won the cup that year. So that tells you how intense I am. So for me not to be able to wear my colors pissed me off.
Reyes says, William, I'm sorry to hear you were subjected to that treatment. No one deserves to live in fear and be persecuted. She's correct.
She's correct, but she's 100% correct. But in LA and Southern California at that time, and it wasn't fair, because they stopped me, and it was a black cop too, by the way, who stereotypically the percentage of us darkies that are into the NHL, admittedly, is very low. And once I displayed my knowledge of my team, they realized that I wasn't the other guy. So, but yeah, in LA, in the greater Los Angeles area in the 80s and 90s, it was really intense. And then after 1992, I remember that was my grad night year. We had to cancel our prom. I don't believe there was a prom for us in our school because our prom was when the riots broke out. And they did not want movement throughout Southern California at that time. It was dangerous. So our grad night, we got our grad night, but our grad night was in June, but our proms were in May, and May and April and May is when the end of April, beginning of May is when the riots happen. So yeah, it sucks.
Okay, Shri S. What's the difference between crack and cocaine? The difference is purity. Cocaine is more pure of the narcotic, so it's more expensive. Crack is a little bit of cocaine, bunch of cutting material.
It's a bunch of
And
cutting, but there's something that they do in the process that makes crack way more volatile and more addictive than cocaine. Cocaine is addictive, obviously, but crack was like something about crack made it to where you would sell your unborn kid for it once you got on it. And it was just like, it was a nightmare. You saw people. You would see people, like you see meth today, you would see people out on the streets. And in New York and Queen and all the New York and Jersey, I hear, because I got relatives of it, it's really bad. You had guys that were guys and gals that were on the street that were recognizable from when you saw them pre-crack era, because the crack
well,
took them over.
you have guys down here. I mean, like here in Texas where I am, crack came late for us here in Texas, but so it's still even prevalent now. Crack and methamphetamines are the two highest used, and fentanyl are the three highest used drugs in Texas right now.
Yeah, fentanyl's wow. Fentanyl's a nightmare. That is an epidemic. And meth you can make at Home Depot, unfortunately.
Reyes says the destruction these narcotics caused in towns I lived in and across California is incomprehensible. There was no escaping it.
None.
It's true.
None. 100% true. And it's sad. I love California. I want to go back.
Wasn't crack in the 80s categorized as an epidemic? It's still
Yes.
at epidemic proportions even now. Mostly on the East Coast anymore. I'm not sure how it is out there west, but I know on the East Coast it's really bad right now. And through the South, you're going to have methamphetamines and fentanyl.
During the 80s, crack, and it was sort of racist, and a lot of people thought it was racist in the way it was classified, because cocaine, which was the pure stuff, was never thought of as a huge problem until crack was made available. And then that's when DARE came out. That's when, the war on drugs. The war on drugs really didn't really kick into earnest outside of like Florida and in the drug trade there. It wasn't a national thing until, crack, because crack could get to anybody. A kid in high school wasn't getting cocaine. A kid in Inglewood in high school couldn't afford no damn cocaine. Crack was another thing.
Afford crack.
Crack was cheap. That was another problem. Crack was cheap. And watch New Jack City. Watch New Jack City. There are certain things about that obviously that are fictional, but the way that it was being done and distributed and how cheap it was and how they could get it out there and distribute it. You took black guys who didn't have anything that were 14, 15, 16 years old, and now you're paying them $600-700 just to watch a street corner. The money was irresistible. And New Jack City, I think, is one of the movies that does the best interpretation of that. But I hope we don't turn this into a crack stream. Oh my God, let's no more crack questions, guys.
There's actually this is just to limit the more questions about crack. If any of you have Netflix, there's a documentary on there about how crack became a thing. So go check that out on Netflix. It's called Crack Cocaine Corruption and Conspiracy. Came out 2021. It's an hour and 30 minutes long. It's a really good, and it explains a lot about where crack came from as an epidemic.
Because we shouldn't explain it anymore here. Sorry, Enosh. Have a burger.
San Bernardino fell because it became the relocation program for LA inmates.
Yeah. I can't have you. I call them refugees, Worth. Let's be nice and call them refugees. They were fleeing oppression.
He says, I grew up in Fontana since '87.
Oh, wow. You see in Fontana.
Now we know why he looks like the guy from Tusk.
You see the ramifications in that entire decade that existed after the steel mill closed, and it kind of like built itself back up. But there was that time in between where now you have the NASCAR track and all that stuff that they do there. There was a time in between, and fourth knows he's there. Woo! Fohai was the biggest thing going. Fontana had a nationally ranked football team that was like nationally ranked. Them and Eisenhower would go at each other. And that's pretty much what they had, and it just got real bad. And now it's getting better, I hear. So yeah, Po Towns, what we call that. Keep going on Foothill, and if you don't have any reason to stop, don't. All right, next one.
All right. Hal Jordan says Rodney King riots was a tipping point in L.A.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
and I was there. I wasn't in the riots, but I was in Southern California when that happened, and it is tragic what happened because a lot of the destruction was black-owned businesses, Boys Market, a lot of the black-owned restaurants, a lot of little black-owned small businesses, hair salon, all those stuff that was on Florence and Normandy, all those things that were near that district, they suffered. And I'm like, you're mad about oppression, about the police and what happened to Rodney King, but I never understood that as a teenager. These businesses are never going to get back up again. There are parts of LA. My MEP Center, which is where you get recruited for the Army and go out of, my MEP Center burned down. I had to go out of San Diego MEPS because my MEP Center that I enlisted through the Army in 92 burned down, and it was never rebuilt. There are supermarkets and family-owned businesses, and that was literally where a lot of us owned businesses and shopped and frequented. Those businesses never were rebuilt again. The people who paid were black folks. They burnt parts of that city down that never recovered or took a long time to recover. And they set back LA in those areas a generation. So that's the tragic thing. And people died. People were killed. People were hurt. People were injured. And it's just, but like I said, I think the biggest tragedy outside of the loss of life, I think 29 people died during the first couple of days, is the fact that it destroyed what was as thriving as you could be in that time for black-owned businesses and black districts, and it was just sad to see that. So, and to live in that while it was going on was even more tragic. All right, next one. Any happy questions? Go back to that.
Hold on.
The
Steelers class, the Steelers class of '99.
Oh, yeah. All right. What was that next one after that? Something about the sci-fi stuff.
Okay. He said it was the Sci-Fi Crack Center tonight.
No, that's not. No. How did we get that question? I don't know why we got that.
We started talking about the fall of the areas we've lived in. Glad you made it out of the hoods, William. Can't and don't want to imagine your alternate timeline gangsta self.
I'd be dead. I didn't fit in that lifestyle. Remember, I was a geek getting into that stuff. I'm a nerd. I wasn't into that culture. When I saw stuff like that, I went the other way. I hung with my crowd. Like I said, the closest I came to being a gangster was accidentally dressing up like one whenever I would go watch a Dodger game somewhere, or whenever I would go, when the Kings went to the finals, we would go to these bars and we would watch them because they would have the closed circuit TV, so I'm out and about wearing a black and silver 99 jersey with a Stanley Cup patch on it, by the way. No gangster had that. You couldn't get that. You had to order that. The Stanley Cup patch for that year, you had to order. The 75th anniversary of the NHL, no gangster was getting that. So the fact that you stopped me with my 1993 Stanley Cup patch that I was so happy to get sewn on, and no one really, whatever. You're black, wearing black and silver, so you must be doing something wrong. So that was the time, though. All right, let's go to happy questions.
She says, I love random topics that come up here. You need more viewers, y'all.
Yeah, but some of our topics, some of our topics go crazy sometimes.
Hey, man, at least
it was what it was. It was a time.
At least I got in on tonight's narcotic stream when I missed the serial killer stream you guys had a while back.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that was a good. I'm still deciding whether that was good or bad.
Clinton says I try not to use the crack on my butt.
Why did you have to bring that up? That's one of those comments you skip. God damn it. Oh,
Ford says, have you seen the videos coming out of Kensington, Philadelphia? Their drug is trank. Horse tranquilizer mixed with fentanyl. People stand motionless in all poses like zombies. Plenty of YouTube videos. Oof. Dear God.
Oh my goodness.
And out emerged our modern warriors, rooftop Koreans, total badasses.
Yeah. And this was another tragic part about the riots is a lot of people took it out on the Korean business owners. There was some elements of our community that took it out on Koreans, and the Koreans had been there for 20, 30 years and served the black community. I mean, but all of a sudden, they had to stand on the roof with guns. I mean, and they were outgunned. I mean, some of those guys were putting themselves in harm's way, but they were trying to protect their businesses. It was sad all around. It was tragic all around. There were no winners in any of that. There were only losers in the whole riot situation. And Rodney King ended up drowning in a pool, 15, 20 years later. All right.
Yeah. Okay, we are out of questions at the moment.
That might be a good thing. Holy mackerel, because I'm afraid of where our questions are going to take us.
So earlier we were talking about movies we're looking forward to. You know what movie I'm looking forward to this year? It comes out in July. It's a movie called Oppenheimer.
Yes, I am too.
I am so looking forward to that one. Not only is it Christopher Nolan, which he usually makes a great movie, but it's amazing.
He's mixed bag for me.
Yeah.
He's mixed bag for me. I wasn't a fan of his Batman series. I was a fan of Heath Ledger, but I wasn't a fan of his the Batman, or I think it's overrated. I think Tenet's overrated. But he's done some good stuff, but just not enough for me to be like, he's not a must-see guy for me. Oppenheimer is must-see for me, though. Yeah. I will be there for Oppenheimer.
He says, Ford says, what's funny and sad is I met hardcore gangsters who had nerd mentalities. I learned about Green Lantern from a PJ Crip.
The thing about it is we had some gangsters that would gravitate towards us, but it wasn't the cool thing to be us. It's not like Anthony ACS with all of his muscles and busting out of his shirt, and his buddy Brent that are bodybuilders. That wasn't the nerd in the 90s. If you hung with us, it was not, sort of a badge of shame if you were a cool kid. And gangster was that cool lifestyle. But they were Incognito.
Nolan's Interstellar was a good one. It was a good Christopher Nolan picture.
Okay. Soundtrack
I loved Interstellar. It was a good movie. Oppenheimer's words, "For I am become death, destroyer of worlds."
Yeah, and that guy that they got to play him actually looks like Oppenheimer. I'm not.
I know
anybody can play anybody, but the guy who plays him, he played the Scarecrow in Batman Begins, Jillian something, but he looks like Oppenheimer because Oppenheimer has that wide face and those wide lines and that wide jaw. He looks exactly like Oppenheimer, and I love the trailer for that where it's just.
Have you ever heard of epic rap battles of history, William? It's a YouTube channel.
I've heard of it.
They have one that's Robert. I cannot speak right now. They have one that is Robert Oppenheimer versus Thanos.
I don't need to see that. Oh my god.
Oh, it's hilarious, dude. It's hilarious. Let me see if I can find it.
Oh no. This stream is going to hell. This stream is going straight to hell. It's being downloaded. The ground is opening up, and it's going to swallow the stream. All over the damn place.
Hold on. You got to. I'm sorry, dude, but you got to watch this. This is hilarious.
I have a burger though.
It's really and besides, it's kind of
play that without getting.
It's kind of comic book involved. Yes, it's a fellow YouTuber. It's fine.
Okay.
It's a fellow YouTuber. It's fine.
Okay.
All right.
So he comes after us now.
Yeah. Oh, he isn't gonna come after us. They're nice guys. I've talked to him before.
Oh,
I've seen these. Kind of electric.
Oppenheimer! Bullshit! Inevitable, immeasurable, inexorable, monstrous, with bars weighing on you harder than your haunting, guilty conscience. I am Thanos, and I crush tracks like tesseracts in my palm. You're a pencil-pushing Terran who never learned to love his bomb. Seems started off a chemist, and on your world you were a prodigy. Well, that makes sense, your rhymes are only hot periodically. Man, I burned the Avengers down to embers, sent half your planet to be slaughtered, and now I'm off in Oppenheimer like I did to my daughter. Got a physical when I'm rapping, 6 infinity gems when I'm packing. Stick your tongue together, back into your pants, Dr. Manhattan. Hadron smashing all your atoms. Best not collide with me when I'm rhyming, cause you break and bleed so easy. I think I'll call you Oppenheimer. It's in pull the Tommy Offie. You just don't have the Apparently the only thing you're good at wrecking is a home. Cause you slept with your friend's wife right there in your friend's bed. Then got another married girl pregnant. You should have gone for the head.
Listening to you took everything I have left. After your raps, I am become deaf. You need an Iron Man for that wrinkly ass skin and that butt chin. Here we go now. Where's your rhythm of the time stone? Your punchlines sound like they came from Rhyme Zone. You might be something in the MCU, but between us, who's the worst MCU? Your dialogue's got too many bubbles. You talk so slow, Drax thinks you're invisible. I caused change's miracle, cause I've got that fissile material. You were born to Eternals, but came out looking so scary that your own mother tried to make you a... Meanwhile, I've mastered the atom more than any man alive. Now I'm here to split you like 2 and 3 from 5. I'm a peaceful man, but I do what I must. You had an evil plan, Thanos, and it left you in the dust. It must leave you enraged when you compare our talents, because in this battle, there is no balance.
For a communist pariah, you come off as awfully cocky, but I'll make you bend the knee in round 2 like Nagasaki. I'm the box office topper, the Marvel showstopper. Got my name on this win like it's the Thanocopter. You just got no answer for Fortnite's dopest dance. I will low-key choke you out like my name was throat cancer.
You wanna talk about death? How about the one that looked at you and swiped left? I'm the destroyer of worlds. You got your nuts handed to you by a squirrel girl. We're in the end game now, Tinky Winky. A physicist like Ant-Man. All up in your stinky. Anyone who believes that Thanos did nothing wrong crap has obviously never heard you rap. Oh, snap.
Hold on! Hold down!
The fact that he brings up he actually got beat by Squirrel Girl in that crappy looking helicopter should be a constant reminder of what a lame villain that Thanos actually is and how he was hyped up for those movies.
Yes.
Oh, well.
He got beat by Squirrel Girl, man. Come on.
And Tigra.
And Tiger.
Yes, Chester. Yeah, you missed the Sailor Shield stream. So did I, basically, because it came out of nowhere. And it went on for like 92 minutes of some gruesome stuff. So,
but no, like seriously though, I'm looking forward to Oppenheimer. It looks like it's going to be a good movie.
Oh, it'll be better. Yeah, it'll be a little bit better than Rap Battle. You know, I've seen those though. This one was Hannibal Lecter versus Jack the Ripper or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, Shri says the best ones are Bill Nye versus Isaac Newton, Gandhi versus Martin Luther King, Stan Lee versus Jim Henson. The Stan Lee versus Jim Henson one is cool. Mr. T versus Mr. Rogers, Deadpool versus Boba Fett.
Yeah, they've gotten completely.
Darth Vader
versus
Darth Vader versus Adolf Hitler is hilarious too.
Yeah, about full circle. There we go. That's a safe topic. So that was fun last week.
Oh man, come on.
Full circle. We raised a lot of money for AFSP. I was happy.
Did we get a final tally on how much was raised?
Hey Raya, you're in the room. I know you were. You guys probably got a bigger update of that than mine. I know we crossed 1 million, but how much did the overall stream? I had Anthony ACS on our stream, so all the mills could donate. So I did my part. You know.
I mean, there's not much to say about it. It came out pretty well. The Q&As went good all weekend. Some YouTubers that I won't talk about got up and interrupted somebody else's question to talk to Zach, but we won't go there. It's kind of a mixed bag. It was a pretty good weekend from what I see, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of pictures from it. A lot of people, you know, some of the people who went to the meetups and stuff, you know. It was cool. Like I said, I want to do something like that out here in Vegas and do a drive-in out here in this parking lot. I think a lot of people, you know, could be able to come and be, you know, if you were able to come to that, you would be able to come to this same charity. We could do a whole weekend of it, but you know, it was so limited, you know, as far as space and availability. A lot of people couldn't hang with each other. So I want to do something in Vegas where we all can, you know, we all can get out here. Tickets will be cheap because I think we'll sell a lot of them. I mean, you won't sell out this parking lot. This parking lot is
You think we could fill your courtyard up there?
Oh, easily. But why do that? Why? Listen, let me show you something. You don't need to do the courtyard. I wonder how long this is before I use. All right, I don't know if you guys. Hold on. Well, let's do this for a second. I'll open the door because you can't see through the gas. I don't know how good you can see. Did you see that parking lot?
Wow, that is a huge parking
That
lot,
parking
dude.
lot can fit 1,000 cars. Right now, they're holding a rally that you could probably see to the side here. Let's see. Here you go. You can kind of see all those cars there. That's about 300 or 400 cars just on that side. So I think if we held an event for charity and we sold tickets, we're not going to sell out. I mean, it'd be cool to sell out it, but I doubt we could move so many tickets to where we would run out of room. That parking lot is massive, and we hold drive-ins in there all the time. But you figure something like that, we could probably put together. I have a 40-foot screen, inflatable screen. We have the means to broadcast things into your car, and if we do it when the weather is good, we can be. A lot of our drive-ins, people come out of their car or they come with their little cot seat things so they can sit and watch, and we have a speaker that plays it out there for them too. So I think we could do. I would be playing a lot of different. I would be playing all the Zack Snyder movies and stuff like that, but I would also be doing Watchmen. I would be doing BBS. I would do them all and write them out here in the parking lot. So you sold tickets for that. We make a ton of money. So that's something I want to work on and get with the Nerd Queens and anybody else out back. We might not, obviously we wouldn't get Zack Snyder because he's pretty much stays in Pasadena, but we would get us together. A lot of us didn't get a chance to meet each other at that event because it was limited event. This, I think it's centrally located, or
Dude,
as far as a vacation spot.
If enough of us get out there, if enough of us use your parking lot, we could tailgate, we could make food.
Yeah, oh yeah,
down there.
People that do
in the parking lot.
Yeah, they'll make food, and I'll go once people set up their cart. I would go out there and I would be tishing their food because they would offer it to me, and then that's how I met Sister Kim's. Is how our drive-ins. They were doing another event at the Sahara Events Center. It wrapped up, and they rolled their truck over and asked me if I needed a food truck. I'm like, yeah. And then that night, I had loaded fries for the very first time, and the rest is history.
Okay, so we got a question here from Numbers. It says, since Oppenheimer and Barbie come out the same day, which one do you think guys will make more money at the box office? Seriously, Barbie probably, because it's more of a known IP. Oppenheimer's gonna be there for the straight up history buffs and nerds.
Yeah.
But it'll do well. It's not gonna do superhero movie bucks, but it'll do all right.
It'll compete with Dune for the Academy Awards, though.
Oh yeah, of course. Rhea says your shopping center definitely needs a theater, if not a Target or Walmart with a theater add-on.
Nah, that ain't gonna happen out here.
Shri wants to know, would it be IMAX?
No, but it's a 39 foot screen. It's pretty big. I don't. And I guess go ahead.
Speaking of Oppenheimer, did you want to play the trailer for it? Because it's out. The Oppenheimer trailer's out.
Who does that? Who's?
It's Universal.
I don't know if I'll get dinged. I know I won't get dinged on Warner Brothers stuff and Disney stuff, but I think I might have an issue with Oppenheimer. I don't do too many Universal ones without their permission, but I don't. What the worst they could do is take us offline. Go ahead. If we disappear, there was an issue. If we don't, there wasn't.
Alrighty, we'll do that.
It still holds its aroma, guys.
That's freaking amazing.
I can smell the cheese. I could. The bacon is overpowering right now.
Right.
There's fries too, but that's secondary.
So here we go.
Is this the one with the fireball where it just opens up with the fire? That one was cool.
We imagine a future. And our imaginings horrify us.
Cillian Murphy really does look like Robert Oppenheimer.
exactly like Robert Oppenheimer.
Until they understand it. And they won't understand it until they've used it. Theory will take you only so far. I don't know if we can be trusted with such a weapon. But we have no choice. Is anyone ever going to tell the truth about what's happening here?
I wish StreamYards would not jam up trailers like that, because the relay from you to StreamYard, it cracks it up, and it's like, damn. And I know it's StreamYard, but yeah, that I love that trailer. I love the way it's fire. It's just fire and heat that I can feel the heat
Now,
just watching it.
a few things that I want to say about that. First of all, he looks like Robert Oppenheimer. That's one. Two, he says that there's a line in that trailer. I wonder if people are going to tell the truth about what happens here. Why he said that, and I've studied the because that first atom bomb there at Alamogordo was called the Gadget, the one that they test in this movie. The one thing that they did not know is there was a theory that when they dropped that first device in the desert, that they didn't know if it would stop, the reaction would stop.
Yeah.
There was a theory that said that they might react with things in the atmosphere and just burn us to a
Just keep
cinder,
going. Yep.
and just keep going. And now there's actually a bomb that'll do that we haven't ever tested, but we've designed it. It's called Cobalt.
Yeah, it's and then you had Zarbamba that was 20 times more powerful than even that. So
Yeah, did you know why? There was actually one we detonated. It was called Castle Bravo. We added too much fissile material to it, and it was supposed to have a certain yield, but it ended up yielding like 10 times more than it was. And we were like, whoops.
yeah. Wow. All right. So I think that's it for tonight, man. I think that's it. I think we've done it. I think I have answered all the questions, hit all the topics. I don't know how I made it through this stream because I'm tired as hell. My eyeballs
Howard the
are
Duck
going.
drive-through, William.
You know what the tragic and sad crap about that is if I did show that movie, I would have to actually pay to license that movie. I would have to pay for a public performance license for that wretched movie. No. All right. That's it, man. All right. Any last words, Dade?
Nah, I'm good, man.
All right. Don't know when I'll probably more than likely if I don't go see Guardians of the Galaxy tomorrow, I'm not going to. So tomorrow is when I'm going to go have to see it because next weekend is TROMANIA. I will not. We will not have an overnight stream as you know it next week, but I will be streaming from TROMANIA with Lloyd Kaufman with me. We will be doing live stuff from TROMANIA. I just won't have a structured show like this, simply because it's going to be hard for me to run that show and do this at the same time. We might work out something with Thade and Stella where they can go live and I can come back in and do certain parts. But I'm going to have my hands tied next Friday and Saturday. So, and then after that, I am going to take a vacation from everything else but streaming in the Sci-Fi Center. So that's it, guys. All right. I have done it. I have shepherded you into what is now May 7th for you guys on the Midwest and East Coasters, which is a majority of you. And you've made it safely to the other side. So just
everybody be safe. steer clear of any bad situations, and we will hopefully see you the next time we stream.
Go out and get you something this large. Go out and get you something that you have to like stretch my. You look at my fingers are at its that maximum capacity of stretching. I'm going to have to literally sit and strategize what angle I'm going to take this bad boy at. It's this big, and it fills up all this foil. There's no wasted space here. It's going down the gullet. All right, guys, have a good one.